Okay, thank you, Marilyn. Okay, well, welcome everybody. We are going this morning do a really quick run through of some of the new releases. Now, it's always been for us that we sort of do a catalog reveal, and this time it's not just a catalog reveal because there's so many things that have gone live yesterday at the same time. So we are trying to do little bits and bites. We will not walk you through the entire catalog. And I suspect in Canada, some of you may not even have received the catalog. Denise, you didn't get yours and you're the closest. So that is unfortunate, but we'll show you a little bit of it today. There's always a PDF. So I suspect Marilyn and Lillian both have a PDF. I have one on my website right now where you can just go in and take a look. It's not nearly as for me, it's not nearly as great as having an actual catalog in hand, but I know some people that is what they like. That's foreign to me, but I know a lot of the younger folks, not that I'm saying any of us are of a certain generation, but they don't like that hard copy. And I don't get that myself. I like to have it in hand. That's what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to run you through in sort of some of the things that each of us have, what we've been playing with, and some of us, me, have been madly playing in the last day. Even this morning, I got up at 6 and I was doing some playing. So we are excited to share with you some of that stuff. So we will spotlight. We would ask everybody just to stay muted, please, while we are doing the event, unless we open it up and ask you for some questions. Feel free to put stuff in the chat. In fact, I'm going to share right now. We have a question for you. And the question is, if I can find my share and get it to work. This is a question for you. So let us know in the chat. And if you've never chatted before, it's down at the bottom of usually down at the bottom, and it just says chat. It opens up on the right-hand side, and you can just type in there. So the question we have for everybody is, let us know where you'll be watching from during the live event. So you could say my chair, my comfy chair, the kitchen table, Clive, I know that Denise is out there. It could be Minnesota for Kim, wherever. Just put that in there and then we will just see where everybody is coming from. And so I will leave that up for just a moment and then we will come back to you. So one is, yes, please leave yourself muted unless we ask you to blah, blah. And we also would like to take a photo about halfway through once we have everybody here. And when we do that, if you would prefer not to have your photo taken, then just turn off your video and that would be fine, that you can go ahead and do that. We wouldn't mind at all, but we would love to see your face. We will probably use it, say in social media or something. So if you would prefer not to, then we certainly understand. And then what we're doing today is we are whetting your appetite a little bit. We are going to show you, as I said, little bits and bites. We have some of the supplies. We couldn't get everything. If somebody got everything, well, more power to them. But there are so many new things out there. And we got some of the things that we like the best that we think you might like the best as well. We'll be asking you some other questions throughout the event and asking you to put stuff into the chat as well. And we're probably, I think, ready to get going. So I'm just going to stop the share here and I'm going to highlight Marilyn because we're going to start off with the celebration. So we're going to start with celebration and show you some of the free things that are available. So take it away, Marilyn.
Okay, this is the catalog. If you haven't received it, we can now show you the inside. And the thing that I'm going to share with you is this kit, the Rainbow Celebration Kit. First of all, I did open it, obviously, because it's all over the place here, but you do get instructions. And they show each of the 3 different cards that you get. They open this way, you can decorate them however. I saw one this morning where they didn't use the cloud piece on the bottom, they used something else, so there's all kinds of alternatives. And if you notice, maybe I'll move this out of the way. When I lay them out, there are different widths of the bands. And that will indicate where the rainbows go on them. I did not realize there was different ones until I actually was following the instructions. So a good time for you to follow instructions. They come with envelopes, and I'll show you my completed ones. I have, and these were exactly what they had in the instructions. So there is this one where the wider, I'm going to say the wider rainbow goes on. And I think, Lillian, it was you who mentioned that look for how wide it is, and now all of the bands are the same width if you put it in the right place, right? The next one is I'm going to call it the green one because I can't remember the name of it right now, the Summer Splash. And these also come with it. You get different languages, so you can use them. If you want, you probably could stamp on the back of them. It comes with regular size dimensionals. Put them together. And these are the other labels that it comes with. So another kit that has everything we need.
And very cute envelopes.
Yes, yes. So hopefully you can see them. So, like I say, I thought these rainbows were all the same size till I started putting them together, and I thought, oh, that doesn't look right. So, you could say one time it was good to follow the instructions. So that is the kit you can get in Canada. Spend $75, and you can pick that kit on page 4. So that's all I have. Joanne, you're muted, so.
Okay, there we go. I couldn't get myself off mute. There. So I am going to show you, I'm just going to change the spotlight here. I'm going to show you a few of the other things. So I don't know if you've noticed in the catalog, there is some really sweet, cute little paper, and it is Toadstool Gardens, and these are the colors in here. Now, we're not going to go too much into all the papers, but we want to show you just little snippets. So there is the Toadstool stamp set in the catalog, which is super, super cute. And these are the back here, and it's great. I've been using it a lot. You're going to see some samples right now. But I'm also going to show you the Starstruck embossing folder. I'm hoping that you can see that. It has little stars and then sort of, what do you even call it? The explosion signs around it. So it's fun to play with. And then purple adhesive backed sequins, but they're not just purple because there's one here that is white and iridescent. So let's show you a few things here. We're going to show you a little bit of demoing, but not a huge amount. So the very first one I started with is just a piece of the paper. So one of the pieces of paper has these cute little snails and some mushrooms on it. And what we want to show you today is mainly some simple type cards. Denise, you mentioned that you were making a whole bunch. So we don't want to spend hours and hours making a card. So that is why we're going to show you some simple things, some that tend to be a little bit more time intensive, but we want to show you some fun little techniques. So this one here just uses a plain piece of paper, a punch, and a ribbon, and then decorates the inside with another piece of the paper. What I've done for all of my cards today is I've also decorated the envelope. So I'm going to show you a bunch of different ways that you can decorate the envelope. This one's super simple, just a piece of the DSP on the side. This one here is much the same, except you're just adding a little bit of difference to the paper. You're cutting it into 4, actually, and then you're just giving yourself a little tiny break in between. It's a different opening for your card, and then the last one is on the inside of the card, and then the envelope actually matches in that you're just putting it across the back. So just a quick little way. This is really cute paper. Now, I wanted to show you one where I took and you probably can't even see it. Let us know in the chat if you can even see the Starburst embossing folder on this one. So this is one of the pieces of paper. And I've just done the wanted to say embossing, not embossing, die cut over top of it. Some of the sequins inside, again, just another piece. And here, what I've done with this one, instead of just ending it, is I pulled it across to the back. So that's one way that you can just add a little bit more interest to your envelopes, is just by having your paper go over the top. Then, if you don't want to use a whole sheet of paper, just take a piece and use a punch. So what's nice about this paper and most of our designer series papers is that there's larger images in them, and you can just create a little scene by using one of your punches. And I know everybody at least has a circle punch. This is the oval punch. And then for this one, I just did clear embossing on it, one sequin. And then what I did here, on my piece of paper, I didn't have another full piece. So what I did is I just took what I had and used the same punch and then cut it off. So you could do this anyway. You could have a piece coming in here. You could have one coming from the top, so that you're using all of your pieces of paper and then just a matching one on the card, the envelope rather. Now we're going to get into some dies. So this is the Hearts of Elegance. No, yeah, Hearts of Elegance, it's called. So this is an online exclusive. We're going to show you some of those today too. This is not a new one that just started in January. It's one that started in, when did it start, ladies? December or November?
November, I think.
November, yes. So here's where you can take some of the paper, and it's not just got toadstools or mushrooms on it. It's got a nice overall pattern you can use for anything, really. This one, I did do the back of the envelope. I think everybody's quite familiar with that. What did I do for the inside of this one? Oh, I didn't do anything. Okay, well, I meant to do something on that one, and then I didn't. And just a little bit of our glimmer paper, which is still there. Now, where are we here? What I wanted to show you is another one that has a little bit more going on in it. So this is taking some of the stamp sets that you may already have and pulling in the embossing folder. So this is the Starstruck. I think this is probably the best way that you can see it. It's a really fun little embossing folder. And then just fancying up the inside, and then just the envelope as well. I think I just did the front. So let me just show you something else that you can do with this, a little technique. So I've taken the Starstruck embossing folder and I've put it onto a piece of our Fluid 100 watercolor paper. And we want to show you a little bit of working with markers, because if you're at all interested in joining Stampin' Up, it's a great deal right now. You get to pick two of our families of markers, and this, I'm working with the Brights right here, but the Brights, Neutrals, Subtles, or the Regals. And we are going to create just a watercolor effect. Now let me just pull in this guy here. So I've got the flat here. I'm going to just bring this in. So just a clear pad, and we are going to take our markers with the brush tip, and we're just going to give ourselves some, what's that? Scribble, just a scribble. So I've got Granny Apple Green, I have Azure Afternoon, and I have Calypso Coral. So I'm just going to add some, lots of nice water right on top of my watercolor paper. Now this paper is, will take the water. You wouldn't want to do this just on a piece of basic white or even your thick basic white. It does not work the same. So I'm going to pick up a little bit. I'm using my brush tip now. I'm just going to pick up a little bit and just put it right on. So you just mix it all in wherever it goes. I'm going to have to obviously clean my work surface here. And you're going to just need to let that dry. Now I picked some colors that really coordinate well together. So when you're done, now before I do that, we're going to let that dry for just a minute. But another thing you can do with your markers, and where's my stamp? It's gone. Okay, I should have the stamp here, but I don't. So I'm going to do it later. You can use your marker to go onto the stamp. I used it this morning and I put it away. So here's what we create. So you just have a background with your watercolor showing off the starburst. Here's where I use the marker on the happy birthday. and nothing on the inside, but then an embossed the flap of the note card. And I'm going to start doing a little bit more of the sizes of note cards that we pretty much all have, because they're really cute and they're a great way just to show somebody that you're thinking of them. And sometimes guys like a little card more than a big card. So I think that's all I have to show you about my celebration things. We will turn it over to Lillian for some of hers. Let me,
Okay, so if you want to highlight my iPhone, maybe.
oh, right. Right. Where is your iPhone?
And
Here we go.
I'm going to just jump on the bandwagon that Joanne and Marilyn have been doing. And we're going to look at page 8 and 9. I know some of you have your catalogs with you, or pencil and paper, pen and paper. We're going to look just for a minute at this ribbon. It is absolutely gorgeous and almost gets hidden down here. So it is the crinkled seam binding ribbon in fresh freesia, and it ties beautifully. You can color it with your blends and turn it to a different color, all kinds of things with it. And of course, it goes with your toadstool paper. It goes with so many different other items that you have in, because Stampin' Up! Excels at coordination, right? So then if we turn over a couple of pages, we're going to see this paper here. This, the Bloom Impressions designer paper. I don't know about you, but the first time I looked at it, I thought, that doesn't do a whole lot for me. Now I've gone through a whole package practically. I'm in love with it. So just a quick look. It is busy on one side, and that is what one of my downline said in our meeting last night. So it's got these busy, happy, cheerful spring colors on one side. This is all I've got left of this color. And I'm going to just take that off. But when you flip it over, you have washes and just more muted, and then this on that side too. So you'll be seeing some of these in action. And speaking of seeing them in action, and the ribbon as well, take a look at this card here. This card just used bits of the paper. It used the ribbon. I brought in some of the dragonflies. You could bring in whatever you wanted. And this word, well, that comes from a stamp set that I'm going to share a little later on. But if anybody thinks they know what new stamp set that comes from, you can let us know in the chat below. In the chat below, sorry, in the chat. The other thing is, so right up to page 11, all of these items in Canada, you can earn them with a $75 order. Now, coming up on pages 12 and 13, so this bundle right here, and then also this stamp set right here, these have a little more oomph to them. And so these you can earn with a $150 order. So you can have the best of both worlds. Mind you, if you have a $150 order, you don't have to get one of these. You could get two of the previous ones. So it can go either way. So I've been playing with this one here. It's a bundle. It's got the die. And so here we've, again, just like Joanne mentioned, I've been playing with the note cards lately. It must be note card season. But they're so easy to use because they're cut and already scored for you. So this, I just used ink and paper. Isn't that a gorgeous little wreath that it makes? And then on the next card, I took the die and added just a little bit more. So there's a flower in there, there's this here. So added just a bit more to that. And then on this one here, I added 2 layers of the wreath. I stamped on one in basic white. And then what I did on here is I used my Lost Lagoon. I happen to have a different color here, but pretend it's Lost Lagoon. And I flicked bits of ink from my marker into the background to create a background. So that just is to whet your appetite about that. And then here, remember, we can make it look a little more rustic if you like that look, or you can go for a little more elegant like that. So I think that's what I am sharing there. And I think we're going to pass you back on to Joanne.
Thank you, Lillian. So I guess what we would like to ask everybody, if you can put it into the chat, what is, now we didn't show everything, of the celebration, because we don't have everything, if you have seen all of the items, or if you have one of the little brochures, what is the first thing that you would select from Celebration if you were placing an order, either at the $75 level or, and as Lillian showed, the heart shapes at the $150 level? So there's some real versatility. Some of the other ones in there, like the little seagulls, are super cute. If you are in a dance group, maybe the dance, is it Dance With Me, I think is the name of the stamp
Yeah,
set. So which
dance
one?
with
Stick
me.
it
Yeah.
into the chat so that we can see which one. Heart-shaped bundle, we have, oh yes, Slim Sayings. I'm OCD. Pam, yes, I could see that. I'm just looking at some of your comments from with the what we've done so far. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here, and I'm finding as I get a little bit older that that doesn't work really as well. It actually is counterproductive. So I'll try not to do I'll try not to do that for you. So we are going to go on. So those are all the free things that you can get, or some of the free things you can get. We're going to go on now to the mini catalog. And the mini catalog is very pretty. How many people have their mini catalog? So this is what it looks like. I think it's a beautiful colored catalog. It's very springy. It's very pretty. It's very feminine, I'm guessing. I'm thinking I would say. And so we have a few things that we want to show you out of this. And we are also going to start with Marilyn again. So I will spotlight Marilyn.
Okay, I have my catalog. Managed to order some, so I had them a little bit early, which was nice. And I'm going to start by showing you what I've done with Greetings for All ephemera pack on page 13. I did incorporate designer paper and these sayings. And then I'm going to share with you what I've got for designer papers throughout the catalog. I'm not going to flip through the pages, but I will tell you what page they're on. Like Lillian and Joanne, I am using the note cards, which are still available. I was pleased to see because I've had these for a while, and I'm going to start using them more often too. So they're a great size. They already have a score line, so you can fold them and make your card. So this package comes with two black pages and two white pages. No, two of each design, sorry. But you can see there is a number of them. I have read that the easiest way to take them apart, which obviously I didn't do, is to do them both at the same time. It just gives a little more stability to the papers. And then I do keep them in one of our clear cases like this. So the cards I made with those are just a variety, and sometimes with another layer I used Summer Splash, and I did color this. That word was just outlined. Added one of the little hearts from the Hearts of Elegance, and I've got a happy birthday card. Another one, just some of the new plaid paper, a wider border around it. Oh, happy day. And on the inside of that one, I did put sending hugs, so you can use them inside or out. And one for congratulations to the grad. So all kinds of different occasions you can use them for. These are the hearts, adhesive back heart sequins. They come in different sizes and they are flat, so they go through the mail really well. I just want to show you, again, as Joanne said, we're not doing a lot of demoing, but trying to share different things we can do with the markers. This one I've picked for Happy Mother's Day. And when I put it on there, I thought, well, that's a little plain. So what I did was I took my Night of Navy marker and just rolled it. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but just adding a little bit of color along all of the edges. And sometimes tipping it a little bit so it shows more on the top. But it just gives it a little bit of punch when you go to put it on the card. I had done the top part of it before, so I don't know if you can, maybe you can see the coloring there. And to me, that stands out better. So you can do that. And when I colored the words on this happy birthday, I did use the brush tip. These are still the older Stampin' Right markers. Well, no, this one wouldn't be. This is a Summer Splash one, so it has the new tip on there. So some great things you can do. And for this, I want a little bit bigger dimensionals. I'm just going to pop that on, and I've got a card for Mother's Day. Doesn't matter what or where, but if you're on your way out the door and thinking, oh, I need a card, this would be a great way to just have these papers on hand and you've got a card to go. So that is my sharing of those items. Now, let me share the paper with you. So, I will try not to bore you with it all, but this is the Timeless Plaid. You'll find it on page 25. These are the plaid, I'm going to call them the plaid colors on this side, and you can see there's 48 sheets of paper in this package. And I'm trying not to dump them. And when you turn them over, there's a different design on the back. So that one, then we come to Storybook Moments. Now this is a unique packaging. There are 12 sheets, but only 4 of them are our usual double-sided that we like to see. Designs we could cut out. I do believe the vegetables and the characters cut out with the dies. On the back side, a little bit more, I was going to say natural, but that's not right. But you could use them for other things without worrying about cutting them out. But then this, that's why I'll have it here. This package also has 2 sheets of punch outs. And as you can see, they fall out. And we, Jillian and I had seen the other day a tip to keep these from falling all over in your papers. Keep them on that side of the cardboard that comes in your package, and then the other papers on this side. And then the last sheet is this one, which I'll try and show. It has all the different sizes that when you cut them out, this is what you get. And already I'm going to make a card out of this one. I think that one is so cute. But you can see there's 3, 6, 7, 8, then some strips, and then the backside is plain on that particular one. Then on page 31, we have our Friends of the Ocean paper. Again, 12 sheets, ocean crabs and lobsters and whatever, and then more neutral on this side. And this one here is the one I used in that happy birthday card. So you can use it for other things. You don't have to use it with this set, but very bright and cheerful. On page 35, we have Floral and Gingham Vellum, which is 6 sheets. So you get 2 each of these 3 designs. The back, you could probably use the back. It shows through, but the colors are so spring-like, and it goes with the Floral Delight paper, which is lots of yellow, as you can see. But again, lots of spring patterns and a little bit more muted on this side, even one there that could be considered masculine. Well, actually true, if you so desire. And then on to page 39 is the beautiful bokeh, which goes with the butterfly set, which I'll share more with you later on that one. All muted bokeh. We used to do some of this with our Stampin' Daubers, making our own, and then the other side, similar colors but different. I love how Stampin' Up! Puts their colors together, and I use that often. If you look at the package, it tells you what colors, and that's how I pick what color my cardstock is going to be for my cards. And this flowering, well, wildflower birthday is another unique one, which Stampin' Up! Is doing more and more of. It's got gold, it's got the spring colors again, 4 sheets like this, so beautiful colors, and then 2 sheets again of punch outs for birthday balloons, banners, cupcakes, and 1 sheet like this that you can use cut out just on their lines. And when you do that, you get tags, you get this kind of tags, and you get some of these you can use for card prints. So some great versatility in all of the papers that that are coming out. Plus, I don't have, but there are lots of them in the online exclusives as well. So I think that is it, Joanne, for what I have.
Okay, thank you, Lillian. So we wanted to show you the designer series paper up front. And now when we go into a couple of the collections, we're going to show you the paper again, but maybe a little bit more in action. Now, as Marilyn stated, Stampin' Up! Is doing things a little bit differently. And you may have noticed it in the annual catalog and certainly in this catalog. The focus is a little bit more on helping us, all of us, make things quicker, so that we don't have to spend as much time in our rooms. Some of us don't have the luxury of even having a beautiful room like I have, or I can see that Kim has one behind her, and certainly Lillian does. So lots of us do, but we've been longtime crafters. And the way that we want to try and make this craft even more exciting and to build our community is to bring people in who don't necessarily want to have what I have. They want to maybe get started with a kit, or they want to get started with some of the paper, like the storybook one with the little punch outs. And so we as demonstrators are also recognizing that maybe some of what we are doing out there that is so intricate or so many layers isn't necessarily appealing to everybody. So you might see that shift in what demonstrators are offering. And just by a show of hands, or put it into the chat, how many of you have been last minute going somewhere, going to a party, going to a friend's house, or you have to pick up a quick little gift or something, and you think, I got to make a card. And when you do that, you say, oh, what do I have? Do I have anything? And without a doubt, it happens to me too. I have lots of cards, but there's never one that perfectly suits the person that I am going to visit right now. So I need to make a card really quickly. So that's why we are focusing a little bit more on how to do things a little bit faster, and still have a real gorgeous card at the end of it. So that's why you're sort of seeing us do this. Now I'm going to go in, I'm going to change my camera here. I'm going to be working with the Floral Delight set. Now this is the set that the collection that I had to get. The next one is probably the birthday one after that, but the yellows and pool party together has been, well, yellow and blue is my thing. So this one I needed to get right from the get-go. So what Stampin' Up! Has done with this catalog that's a little bit different is that there are more pages on the whole collection. So everything, you see everything a little bit bigger. It always starts sort of on the right side, and it gives you some samples. Then some more, just some of the actual supplies. But of course, oh, you can't see that. The supplies, the way they do the supplies is pretty gorgeous. And I'm just realizing that maybe I'm out of, let me see if I can, I guess that's about all the best I can do for zooming, sorry, or for focus. They do supplies really pretty, right? So they cut them into circles and they add some flowers. So these are the supplies. Then you'll see the stamp set and the dies if there are, as well as the accessories. Then you'll see the paper a little bit larger than it's been before. And I think what they were finding is that it was really difficult for people to actually see how gorgeous this paper is. Now, what's great about this one, it has vellum paper as well as the designer series paper. And then there's another spread that shows some more samples and shows maybe how you can actually use it. So we're going to go into, let me just put that aside where I'm going to get it before. So here is everything. So it has a really pretty Daffodil Delight. It's a 1/8 inch satin ribbon. These are the cutest little things. I'm hoping that you can see these a little. I'm going to put, or I have them on things. You can't really see them fabulous, but they really are tiny. Like there's my nail next to it. So they're little tiny bees, and they're called tiny bee trinkets. Here's the stamp set. I'm going to give you a tip on working with these stamps right here. But the real draw for this one is this large wishing, and then you match it with a whole bunch of different, well, a whole bunch, there's 5 different sayings here. There's also a couple other little flowers. This is a 2-step stamping, and in reality, this is like a 4-step stamping for this one. So again, this is going to be a set, probably people who are already stampers are going to be the ones who just love this. But the paper could draw other folks, newer people. These are the dies. So the die, there's a whole bunch of dies. And this wishing is probably the draw for a lot of folks. So let me show you, Marilyn already showed you the paper. So here's the paper. I don't have mine nicely arranged, but the vellum is very pretty. And let me show you some samples. So I wanted to do super quick and easy. So taking the designer series paper and just edging it with some basic white, and then putting, I'm hoping that you can see these because I realize I use the colors of the paper. So just lots of them. And on
You can
the
see them.
side, just matching it as well. And then again, doing the back of the envelope. So super quick card. This one is probably one you can do in 5-7 minutes, probably max, by the time you cut everything and if you get your ink pads out. The next one is using some of that paper and cutting out the design in the paper. And so what I did here is I just cut out one of the large flowers, and then I stamped on here, but I stamped in a slightly different direction. So this is a large wishing. It's quite wide. So you want to think about, you need bigger cards. It wouldn't fit really well on a note card. So I thought, well, what if I put it down this way? So you can always use it this way, and then the rest of the saying down here. And I found that because there are no embellishment, no dots with this particular collection, I use the iridescent foil gems, and they seem to go really, really well with it. And then after I stamped, I embossed it with the distressed embossing folder. I cut out another one for the inside of the card, and in my envelope is another one again. Now, I want to show you something else you can do with the envelope with your markers. And for me, I am a calligrapher. Most of you know that. And so I do brush writing. And the brush writing with our markers works really well. And I have to say, the new markers are not quite as resilient as the old markers are, but they will give you a nice result. And but one thing I like better about the new markers is that and I don't have one here. Marilyn had one. The tip is better for writing. Let me grab one right now. What will I get?
I'm actually going to show it in a few minutes if you want.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I think I managed to pull another one. Yeah, I managed to pull another old one. So, okay, Marilyn, Lillian's going to show you. But the great thing about what our markers do, of course, is that they match everything. So they match everything. I'm just creating some shadows here. So they're great to play with. Not everybody wants to letter. I recognize that, but it is something that you can do with them. Okay, so the next, I want to show you just a little bit about these stamps here. This one, this one, this one, and this one. So there are 4 steps to making it. I found you didn't have to use both of the flowers. So there is a solid image flower. There's a detailed image flower. And then there's a piece like a stick, the stem of the flower, and then there's some leaves. So what I've done is I've put them all the same way. Now, the same way being that they're all up and to the left, which works for me, but I want to show you a tip for this guy in particular. So when you are, if I take this off, and if I take this one off, they do fit together one way. So now I'm just going to put this one down. I take this one that's just a single one at the top, and I put that sort of in my top corner. And then what I do is I take my other, and hopefully some of you have more than one, I take my other clear block and I take the next one, I'm gonna have to get my head in here, sorry, and I put it over top. So that it's basically in the same place. So then I know that when I go to stamp these, and you can still, I don't whack that on there and give it tons of force, but just a little bit. I'm just going to show you with pink rather than yellow, just so that you can see it a little bit better. Let me grab a scrap piece of paper here. So I'm going to stamp the solid one first. Well, actually, hold on. I'm going to stamp the leaves and the branch first. So I'm going to start with the branch and I'm going up. This is my top one here, my top to the left. That goes first. Then my leaves are the same way, top to the left. And I'm just going to place those on there. I'm going to stamp them off a little bit so they're not quite as dark. Okay, so now I've got my leaves on there. Doesn't look like much yet. I'm going to stamp my, I should have my silicone craft sheet, not my silicone, my Stampin' Pierce mat here. I want this to be a lot lighter. So I'm going to now stamp this one here. Sorry, again, I should probably have my head over top of here. Let me try that again. I'm going to do that. And now we're going to do the other one. And I'm not going to stamp off this time. And I should be easily able to get that on there. Now let me put on my branch. And my leaves. I think my branch might be upside down, actually. So I want to show you that even if you make mistakes, it still looks okay. So there it is in pink. I move these off to the side so I don't stick something else in there. Now I want to show you another card. So this is a trifold card. Not a lot of extra. I'm not using the dies yet. So this is a trifold using our designer series paper and using the smaller flower. Just using some of our ribbon here, decorating the envelope like that. Now this is a free a bonus for people who place the $75 order with any one of us right now. We have a PDF that we will send to you to make these particular projects. So Marilyn will get her to show her Starstruck one here, which is a shaker card, and Lillian will show hers in a little bit. And this is mine here. So that's something that we have for you that we'd love for you to get for free. This is where I have the yellow with that, the 4-step. So here I have pulled in the dies. So the wishing you well, I've done that also on the inside. And so a tip for the wishing, use your double-sided adhesive. So it will make your life a lot easier. And use it for both wishings. Use it for the fine and use it for the outline. One of the things I notice is that I cannot get the eyes to stay, like the dot on the eye. Can you see there's no white dot? It's not worrying me because you can certainly read it as wishing. If I wanted, I could stick a little, take a white marker or something like that, a gel pen, and put it in there, but really it's not that big of a deal. And you can see how cute that little bee is on there. So there's lots of ways. I really only skimmed the surface of this set, but there's so many things you can do with it. And then I wanted to use one with the vellum. So this is vellum. on the back, and I love that it's gingham. Anybody else really love gingham?
Mhm.
I think you can do
Yeah.
anything with gingham. And the very first papers that Marilyn showed, and I'm afraid I don't recall the name of it right now, has all of the plaids and the gingham sort of look to it. So there's lots of versatility there. So here I just did it with gold. Again, I used adhesive on the back, the double-sided adhesive paper first, because I'm okay at putting the little dots of glue on there, but this is a very fine one. It's actually really difficult to do that with. So this is a flower that you can also create with the dies. So there's a bunch of different dies in here, some which do not have a stamp that goes along with it. So this one here is made from this one, this larger guy here, as well as the leaves up here. So there's all kinds of things that you can do with the dies. This one in particular, I like. I love this for the greeting. And you can even cut out those flowers like I just showed you. So there's all kinds of, this one doesn't have a decorated, all kinds of things you can do with this one. So if you love yellow and blue like I do, if you love flowers and springtime, this one is a great set for you to get. Okay, on to our next one, which is Lillian.
Oh, I love all that. And the tip of lining up the stamps, that's a new one for me. Don't you love how we can still learn? I just love that. So what I'm going to do is feature the Wildflower Birthday whole suite of products. And that's the one that's actually on the cover of the catalog as well. So if you look on the cover of the catalog and then you turn over to page 42, it's the beginning. And just like Joanne said, there is a 4-page spread here. This is likely what caught my eye right off the bat. But any kind of celebration, this might just be what you're looking for if you're doing celebrations, whether it's decorations, cards, or whatever. So let's look at some of the things found in this suite and then share some ideas. So before we do that, I just also wanted to mention, have you looked at the scrapbooking brochure online? It's only available online yet, but they have a suite of products in there that coordinates with this. So there are more die cuts like Marilyn showed that you can just punch out. There's paper. And in the scrapbooking kits, the supplies there work for scrapbooking, but they work for cards, just like what's in the annual catalog. And the mini catalog works for cards and also works for scrapbooking, any of your paper crafting things. There's also another stamp set that coordinates with this. It's the same font. It's just a really neat thing to look at. So if you haven't yet, do go online and take a look at the scrapbooking brochure. There's neat stuff in there. So I just wanted to point that out and give a little plug. But let's look at birthday celebration. So there is the bundle, the die set, and the stamp set. And the fact that it has the word cake in it had me actually. I like the word hooray because it's not just for birthdays, it can be for anything. Same with happy. And then you see all of the ST and ND, RD. So that goes with the numbers. So you could stamp on a circle or right on your cardstock layer. And then we've got these fabulous numbers here. Up. Here's my little get acquainted sheet. So we've got these fabulous, fabulous numbers that are so much fun and great to use. Then we have 1, 2, 3 sizes of banners, as well as the banner string. And then we've got these little tassel things, and they actually are cut so that you can make them all fluffy and like that. And I love how Stampin' Up! Is so committed to using every piece of the metal that they have for their dies. And so they added all these little pieces just to add little accent pieces like that. Also in the suite are these amazing, they're called party dots. And they come in the 2 sizes, 3 colors, and they're nice and flat. They have a little bevel to them, but not much, so they don't add a lot of bulk. And then another thing is this great ribbon. Now, some of you who have been following Stampin' Up! For a while, you might recall when we had silver. This is the gold. Let me just bring in something to put it on. And it just adds a nice airy touch to a project. Is fun to work with. Some people say, I don't know what to do with it. Well, you can tie a big poofy bow with it, or you can add just a little bit behind something. So we're going to have a look-see at that as well. So let's bring in a little project I want to share with you. Now, Marilyn showed this paper here that you can cut apart. And we're going to, I've cut it apart, and we're going to use this panel right here. So let's take that out. And then we're also going to use some of the punched out pieces. So let's put that up there. I'm going to start with a little note card. And here is the piece I cut out, but it's the back piece. So I could use this piece and put it right on the note card, and it fits perfectly. Then I could add, I could add a die cut image like a piece of cake and a label and do something with that. We're going to use the other side right now, but I just wanted you to see that. So I use this panel here. So this was already done. And then I just brought in the blueberry bushel, brought in that color and did the stamping. So there's that much there. It will fit perfectly on here. You could die cut if you know the age of the person. You could die cut and add a little bit extra there. The other nice thing is you now have a marker, because Stampin' Up coordinates everything, right? I just love that. And you can use this marker and write on the inside of your card, and it's going to match. So for example, and I'm just going to write, I'm going to write on a scrap piece of paper, because I don't know who the card's going to yet. But so we can just go, and whoops, helps if I spelled happy right. There we go. And you can see how it's going to match, and everything's going to coordinate. So I am absolutely loving my new markers. I use them for a lot of different things. Now let's just take this, instead of using a note card, what if we used a regular sized card? We could put it on here. We could add the little 8 there. We could start to add layers if you wanted. So these packages of things that go from quick and easy to I can use it to make things a little bit fancy. Sticking to my fingers. You can see that you can step it up all that you want. You could even add a little gold bow there and some embellishments, and then you have another fun card. So speaking of fun cards, let me just share a few more samples. So this one here, all I did was take the designer paper, and I just cut 3 little panels and put it on the gold. You can see, maybe, let me just see if I can get it in the right light. Again, I'm really into spattering these days. I spattered with my marker in the background. I die cut a circle and did some embossing on there. And then again, I used another one of so I like to keep my punch outs in something I can see through, whether it's a plastic bag or whatever. For today, I spread them out on here, and I just took a balloon from there and put it on here and added a few of the embellishments. And then this gold thread is amazing. It is actually in the online exclusives. If you like a little touch of gold, this thread ties beautifully. I'm using it on tons of projects these days. So we have that. So this one here is a regular size card again. And again, I used some of the punch outs on here. I did the happy, and then I don't know if you can see, but just a little bit of the gold mesh ribbon in the background that adds that soft touch, but adds the glitz and just dresses it up. And then again, a few more of the embellishments. And here's a die I'm going to be featuring down the road a little bit. So stay tuned for that. I really had never used these kinds of punch outs a whole lot before I started making these samples, and I got a little hooked. So here again, I use them, but here is one of the labels from the sheet of paper. So you can see right here, there it is. And I just used a portion of it right there. And there's one of those little bumblebees. So cute. Okay. And then last but not least, I received this card in a swap. So this person did tie a bow with the mesh ribbon and use this banner, which I'm dying to do a whole lot more. and some of the designer paper, and just like that. So those are some of the things, and hopefully they've got you curious or excited about the birthday celebration kit. It can be used for so many things. So thanks for that. And I'll pass it on to, I think it's Marilyn next. All right.
Yeah, except I haven't got my camera changed. Great tips, Lillian, and both you and Joanne. I think I might have to buy some more stuff. So, before I start with my set, which is the beautiful butterflies, Joanne had mentioned I would share this with you. This is my shaker card, done with the embellishments from this set, but also you can see the Starstruck embossing folder in the back. And I thought, what a great way to show off both. And what I did on this one, now it's really stuck, I did pick out one of the embellishments and actually glue it to my greeting, and then the rest are just floating around. So that will be in your PDF for quarterly. So my bundle to share is not the cake one, because that's where Lillian was. Not that one, this one. The beautiful butterflies. And this set, when I first saw the catalog, even online, I was very intrigued with this die. I'll show you the die better, but you can see it's kind of unique. You can cut it out and have just that for your card. You can cut out an opening for a shaker card like they did in this sample. So many great samples again. You can use your blending brushes to create interest on a card like that. You can cut it out of designer paper for a different look again. I don't have near as many samples as I would like to, but I do have some. Paper, it comes with a stamp set, a hybrid embossing folder, which cuts and embosses at the same time, dies, which are, it doesn't say that, but I will show you in a minute, and these little embellishments that I used. So that is on page 38 and 39, and again, 4 pages. Page 40, and a card, I think I've got one similar that I've received in the swap, just the tiny butterfly. Works well. You don't have to use the big ones, but this is the die cut that I was talking about. So many great ideas, and the blending brushes using for that. So let me show you what's in the bundle. The stamp set, great words, great images, and just a word I mentioned a while ago in my live, and some did not know. Stampin' Up! No longer has 100% images on the front, and I discovered that. I grabbed a piece of cardstock I was going to do something with, held it up to my image, took it to my table, and my image was too big. They have changed how they put these together, hopefully to discourage the people that get a hold of our catalog way before we do and make cheaper stuff. And you all know who that is. So just to be aware of that. Some of the sets, I don't think any of the new ones, you can rely on these being 100% anymore. Actually, right here it says, oh my goodness, that's hard to read. Maybe, well, I won't hold it there. 85% is what it says right here. Images at 85%. So I don't know, like I say, I think that's all of them now. So just be aware of that. So I like to take my stamps off of the sheet they come in, which I put the sheet in here, and place them on the paper. It already has a picture for you. And then when I put them away, yes, I do check that I've got them all. I've also kept, this is one of the embossed die cut butterflies. So you can see the detail in it. And plus there's a couple cards that have it on. And this is the embossing folder just done on fresh freesia, I think. It's a colored paper anyway. So you get the stamp set. You get the hybrid embossing folder. And how that works is this, if you haven't used one of these, will fit. It kind of clicks. And then if you were to lay your, this one's already been done, but if you were to lay that in there where you wanted, you could run it through your cut and emboss machine, and it would cut that out as well as emboss everything. So kind of a 2 steps in one effect. We have quite a few of those, and I love them all. So the embossing folder, the dies, this is that one that I said was what sold me on the kit. There's some word labels. There's 3 different body sizes, depending on if you're using just the big one, or this one, or one of these little ones. And I never get mine back in here right, but they only go one way, because if you put it the other way, it won't close properly. So I have done, Lillian has trained me well. I get to know your sheet just like she does. This is what that die cuts out like. So you can trim just along here if you want to, and just have this as the front of your card. You could take this out and put something in here, or maybe cut one of these and put it in there. So many options. So then I thought, okay, I like the words, but I want to see them on paper. So I did a side with all the stamps. And this one I can see Lillian's splatters she was talking about. That would be the kind of thing I would use that for. And I got a little messy, but you get the idea. You can see the actual words printed. So that's that sheet. Then it comes with the paper that I showed you before. The beautiful colors. I don't have that in front of me right now to give you all of the proper names, but look at them. They are so nice. Easy to use for many different things. And then these, of course, you want to be careful when you open them because they are very tiny. Just wait a minute for the camera. Very glimmery. I don't know if you can see any now. When I was doing the shaker cards, some of these, use something to point to them. These ones, if you get these, some of these larger discs, I'm going to call them, were stuck together, and I actually thought it was a thicker embellishment, but they were actually stuck together. So when I started working with them, I could pry them apart. So just to be aware of that. And now I can show you the samples I have. So again, using the paper that Joanne shared, this is a swap using just 2 of the die cuts for the butterflies. So quick and easy, designer paper, a layer, stamp on the layer with the words from this set, and do the cut up to the center and fold back. So that one. This one, Lillian had shared with me, just plain white, but it's beautiful when it's embossed like that. And I personally love the narrow borders. So another great idea. And another one, this one I did, I don't know how well you can see it. This is coloring using ink on the embossing folder and then running it through the die. And these are using, I'm just going to grab them, which I forget about quite often. If you have these in your stash, the enamel basics, I took my glue dots, and I think way back when these came out, I think it was Lillian that actually shared this tip. If you take a strip of glue dots, and I've got those handy too, show you what I did. Take a strip of glue dots, put your enamel effects on them, and let them dry. Then they are sticky, and you can put them on here for something like that. I didn't want sparkle. I wanted something more muted. And so that's what I used. So just sharing that with you because, like I say, it's something I don't often remember to use, and it is right on my desk. And last but not least, I have this card. We did this one in one of my Friday Zoom classes with some of you, and I didn't do the butterfly at that point, but I really, really am pleased with how it turned out. Can you see I've got the embossed layer here? I've used vellum for the big, I'm going to call it the big outline butterfly, and then just white for another outline and for the wings, and put them together. Something that I don't have very handy, but I think with a card like this, you could also put one of those tea lights, battery operated ones, of course, in behind, and it would give a glow in behind that vellum. And this embellishment is from one of the purple, in the annual catalog, we have purple embellishments of some sort there. Another couple things I'd like to share, just because I see them sitting on my desk here. And Joanne had shared that Starstruck embossing folder. I used it on this card just as background. So even without coloring or blending brushes or anything, it adds so much to the card. Or I did it over designer paper. So you can see so many uses for it. And somebody commented on that one, and it looked like a quilting card. So that's what I have to share with you on that. I think that was all I was supposed to do, right, guys?
I think that was it for now. Yes. We do have a question for everybody, and we also would like to take a photo here in just a few moments. So if you would prefer not to be in the photo or have it used, please take your video off, and Marilyn is going to be the one who is going to take our photo. And I think you'll actually get a little message saying group photo. Is that correct, Marilyn?
I think when we tried it, it comes up and says, we're going to take a photo. Are you okay with that, or something to that effect? So we haven't tried this before, so bear with us. I'm going to click that.
Put on your best smile. You
And
can wave. Marilyn will tell us when.
well, first of all, I have to figure out where the heck it is. Oh, just a second. No. Okay, it says group photo. Ah, I see a create button at the bottom, so let's try that one. Ready, set, go. Nothing. Well, now it went somewhere else. Good
We're
heavens.
tech savvy to a point. Not a very long, big point, but to a point.
You all know that about us. It's to a point.
You know what I am going to do? I will take a screenshot and we'll maybe
Okay.
use that. We'll see how it works. There.
And
We
we'll
have
do
a
some more
screenshot at
research.
least in case that photo didn't go anywhere. So
We'll do some more research on how to do that. But when I
yeah.
tried it earlier.
Yeah, it worked earlier, but that's the way of Murphy's Law, right?
Yeah, I got one of the three of us when we were trying it. So
Well, we'll keep trying. I'm going to change my camera and go on to the next item. So those are the suites that we wanted to show you. And now we are going to go into a couple bundles and stamp sets. So, or other things. So I'm going to get the next thing that I had to get in the catalog, which was the toadstools. Now this does have a perfect coordination with the Celebration 6x6 paper, which I showed you earlier. These are lots of solid images in here. Let me see if I can come a little closer. Nope, that's going to be brighter. Nope, that's going to change it. There, that's what I have to do. So there is a stamp set, and I'll show it to you. And then there is a punch for this one. So this is a bundle that it does not have dies. And there's some great samples here. And they actually are starting to give us a little bit more detail or little hints about different things. So I'm going to show you this. But this punch is meant to not go around the image, but go inside the image so that you don't have to worry about trying to line it up perfectly, because sometimes that just doesn't work. So it is a nice little technique. So here it is here. So there are lots of great images, but the words are the ones that I thought were probably the best, especially this popping up to say hi. And you are magical. I don't know that I have ever used that on a card to date, but I do like it. So there's a lot of stamps in here. So when I was making my samples, one thing I noted is you probably want to have a few of the different sized acrylic blocks, the clear blocks, because I was just creating all over the place and I found, oh, I wanted that one. So if you have a few more, it is great for this one. Now I'm going to show you how to use a couple of them. We're going to use that. I just want to show you a card to begin with. So this is just a very simple card, a little bit of torn edging here, and I'm using colors that are not in the catalog and are not in that designer paper because I wanted to show you that, you know, I know we sometimes get into the tunnel where we think we can only use what we see on the catalog, and that's not at all the case. So I'm using, what have I got here? I've got gray granite, I've got early espresso, and I have soft seafoam. So this is just a quick little card that could have been a note card as well. On the inside, I have a little different set. And then I sort of went to town stamping the back flap of this one. And I have to say, this two-step stamping really is a lot of fun just creating with this one. So the next one that I did is using some of the Celebration Toadstool Designer Series paper, but it's the back side of one of them, which really does not at all go, we don't think, with the rest of the paper because it's so bright pink and there's lots of granny apple green and melon mambo in there, but it has a much softer side as well. So don't just, think it only has certain application. This one here, I used some punches for it and then did a little bit more. So this one is a little bit more of a stepped up card because it's got a few different things happening. These dots that I'm using are also out of the catalog and they are the antique pearls. And I think, I'm trying to think which collection they go with. They may go with the storybook collection.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Elaine. And I quite like them because they're a subdued color. They're still nice and shiny. They have a little bit of iridescence to them, so they pick up green, but they are more of a basic beige or even maybe vanilla. And then on the inside, just a little bit of bringing the outside in. I just repeated the little banner. And I did use the "You Are Magical." And on this one, I just did the little toadstools down at the bottom. So let me show you a little bit of working with this one. So I have a note card. I have a little piece where I have just embossed it with the starburst. And I found working with the punches that this one here in particular, if you don't want to always stamp everything, and it's hard to stamp everything and then get it to punch out. So in order to use this one, I always use my punches upside down, like 99.99% of the time. But if I want to just get this guy here, this is a perfect way to use up your scraps. Take a small piece, slide it in, and just punch out your stem. I'm going to stamp on top of soft seafoam with my mushroom cap. Now, so they're calling these toadstools. What's the difference? And put it into the chat. What's the difference between toadstools and mushrooms? Like, is there something that I need to know about this? Because to me, these look like mushrooms. So I'm just stamping that. This is photopolymer, so it makes it easy to stamp. And again, I've cut it and I did sort of measure. I might get a little bit, upside down. So you might get a little bit that goes into the other areas, but you're not going to get nearly as much waste. So see how that is going right inside. So there's the outside edge here. And so I'm just going to punch that. So it makes it much easier to get a better result. So here we have our guys there. I'm gonna
I,
pull,
I have, I, I have the answer, Joanne. There is no scientific or biological difference between a toadstool and a mushroom.
thank you, Marilyn. That must be Chat GPT giving us the answer.
Well, it was AI on Google, but yeah, same idea.
Okay, same thing. Okay, so let me just bring in my sheet again, although I don't actually think I need it. So what I want to do with this one first is I am going to punch out my starburst just with whatever punch you have. I like the size of this one. And this is just a piece of the, what is this? This is basic beige, I think. And then I've got my little toadstool mushroom where there's no scientific difference between them. Now I'm going to place this over here, but before I do that, what I want to do is I want to stamp my other little guys coming out of the back of this. So I am going to stamp this over here. Now I'm going to stamp off. I think I want them just a little bit lighter. Okay, so there's that. This is my gray granite here, and I'm going to do these little three. And it's super easy with the photopolymer just to stick those right on top. Now, this guy probably did that too far over. I can do that. And I'm going to glue this down. Now, I got a glue. Now, some of you may have that it really doesn't want to come out. I have to, oh, well, of course, it's going to make a liar of me. I have to really shake it. Did any of you ever have glue like that? So this guy I'm going to move over a little bit. Just I want to see that peeking from the background. Then I'm going to glue this down. And you can choose, it doesn't really matter which side you do this on. It is a fairly small little stem. So I'll glue that down. And then I've already put dimensionals on the back of one over here. And you can play with however you want that cap to go. You do that. And then my words, you are magical is going to be in the soft seafoam. I'll try and get this straight. Okay, so you have a really quick card. Now this would have taken just a little bit of time, but most of that, I don't know, how long was that? Was it 5 minutes? I was talking at the same time. And then what I did, if we wanted to decorate the envelope, that's all I did for the envelope is I just stamped it. So a super cute little card. I would actually give this, I think I'm going to send this afternoon. Actually, I know exactly who I'm going to send it to. So don't agonize over your cards, just produce. The next one I wanted to show you has a little bit more involved. So more colors. Now there is a really cute little ladybug. Well, it's a bug that you can turn into a ladybug if you wish. So this is two separate stamps, that little guy. There's a bottom part, I'll bring in the stamp set again. So there's dirt if you want, or grass. So stamp it several times to create light and dark. So this one here is second impression. These are first impressions. And when you do first impression on top of another one, you're going to get more shadowed effect, a little bit darker effect. And then just use some of these other guys a little differently. So for this one, which was that same stamp, I just put a piece of tape over top of the smallest one here so that, and then took it off, inked it up, took off the tape, and then stamped it. So I only got two of them. So a cute little guy there. On the inside, what did I do? Oh, I did a little bit more on the inside. So this one is a really, if you were sending this to someone special, you would, Lillian said with the birthday set that once she started, she sort of couldn't stop. With this one, I found it the same, and it's only because I had to move on to other stuff to show you that I stopped using it. And it's the same, I think you guys probably have this happen to you too. You buy something and you try it the first time, and you think, I'm not so sure I really like this set. Give it a little bit of time, play with it, because I think what you'll find, look online, see all kinds of different samples, because you'll find that it really does have lots of possibility. So here's that bug by itself. There it is with the top. what did I do here? Oh, I did much the same here. So I did an envelope with a whole bunch. Wouldn't you love to get an envelope like that in the mail? Like that's a card just right there. So you're going to make someone's day giving them that. And then I received a card from our lovely Lillian. This is in our pinks. So you can see how it looks in the bright colors. So similar kind of idea. And then here's a tag. So a tag that you can make just to put on someone's gift. And I just use some of our, oh, I don't even know what this is called. I have to say, I haven't used it all that much. It's the in color, Lillian, I think you've used it. What's that called? Putting her on the spot, are you ready?
It's Pebbled Path, and it's the in colors that are just going to retire soon, and it's their twine, the in color twine.
The twine, yes. So yes, she's right. That is the pebbled path. So that's one that I wanted to show you that has a bundle. Now this guy here, can you have a couple minutes? I wanted to, not a couple minutes, seconds. I wanted to show you this one more year as well. Just going to show you some samples from here. So I wanted to have a good cross section. So this to me is a fun set. And what probably draws most people right away is this dog. If you are at all a canine lover, he is a little, I don't particularly like this type of dog myself in real life, but he's awfully cute. And then the words that go along with it. So happy birthday, another wrinkle wiser. I can relate to that. You're how old in dog years? You'd be like, 7 times the amount that you are. There's a birthday cake that everybody can use, and then cheese and crackers, which is a little bit less of the happy kind of thing. Well, it's happy, it's just not cute, I guess. So here's the first one. So on this one, I used our markers again, and I used them with water. Let me pull that up a little bit. I do not know why this is not more in focus. Oh, that's better,
good.
isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, so what I did here is I used the markers, but this is thick, basic white, thick paper. You're not going to get, I use markers and the water painters. You're not going to get as nice a look if you don't use watercolor paper. So this is just a quick little card. It has the stamp set also has these little bursts, star bursts. So they're perfect. And that's what I did on the bottom of that envelope. Now, the second one I did is much the same, except I took our punch and I used 2 punches. I used the oval punch to punch out first, and then I used a circle punch to punch over top so that you actually, let me put a color underneath there so you can see it better, so that you get a shape like this, which is a little different shape than what we have. So just another way you can do it, a little peek through card, back of the envelope with 2 colors that I used. Let's see, the next one. So I went into my Stampin' Blends, which we haven't used here. So a little bit of less cute and funny, I guess, as I said earlier. And for the inside, what I did is happy birthday, but there isn't just a happy birthday in here. It says happy birthday, now back to me. Now with this particular stamp, I didn't think that sort of worked. So I did the same thing with this one as I did with those little toadstools, is I used a piece of cello over top of the now back to me and inked it up and then stamped. There are a few little pink dots underneath, but I'm not worried about that.
You could also use your markers, right, Joanne?
I could, yes. Except, you know what? I could have used my markers because they work a lot easier on, markers will work way better on your rubber than they will on your photopolymer. On the photopolymer, your markers beat up for some reason. And I don't exactly know why that is. I've tried to take an emery board to my photopolymer and see if that would help. But the rubber is way better for using with your markers. So yes, that would be a way I could do it. And the envelope for this one, I just took half of the, well, not even half, a third of the envelope, and I did the embossing folder all the way through. You can't even see that, sorry.
Yep.
Okay, so it's another way that you can use the embossing folder. And then the last one, just a little bit more of, I wanted to show you as well, the birthday cake. This is done with Stampin' Blends. And I sort of thought, okay, well, this is nice and straight, nice and straight, nice and straight. Let's put that a little bit on the angle because it's sort of a fun little saying. And then this one here, I did the candles along the bottom. And the here I was covering up a little bit of a an oops. So, you know, I don't have to tell anybody that. And then just the cake on the front. So that's it for me. And so I know Lillian has some things that she wants to share as well. So let me go back to her and spotlight her once I find her. I'll remove that spotlight.
My brain is just swimming with ideas.
Mhm.
I love them all. So the envelopes are my envelopes are going to get dressed up a notch, I believe. And I was thinking the ephemera could go with the birthday set. And oh, my brain's just in overdrive. Um, but my brain tends to do that. It's whether it accomplishes anything afterwards. That's what's important. So what I am going to talk to you about or share is the Link Together bundle. It's on page 48. So it's here, and it's one of these I call it a super duper bundle because there are 3 items in the bundle, but you can also use them, get them separately, and they can stand alone. They just work beautifully together. And so I'm going to share a little bit and let you, kind of what caught my eye. So here's the stamp set. Wonderful words. Now, do you see where the enjoy from this card came from? It's from right here. And that it's nice to have some different words that fit a variety of occasions. So it's not always just happy or celebrate. So enjoy it. It's nice. And but then these work together. So wishing you a happy day. Just a note. So happy for you. Wishing you a lifetime of love. So you can mix and match, and you can use these, which are great fonts too, by the way. Or you can add in some of the other greetings as well. So great for mixing and matching that way. And then there are these great dies. So it's just easier to see them here. So here is where you're seeing, this is where I got this shape on this card here, is from here. So we've got an oval, a diamond, and then the trellis kind of look, or that. And then again, they've thrown in some vines and some flowers. And if you look here, the flowers, one die cuts out all 4 of the little ones, or one die cuts out all 2 of the bigger ones. So it just makes it really quick and easy. One of the reasons I got this bundle was I liked all of that, but I was intrigued by the masks. And I really liked that the masks were just generic. We didn't have to build a tree or a flower, and I loved those. But that's what caught my eye about these. And just a little hint, the packaging was important because it gives an idea of what you can do with the masks. I don't know about you, but I seldom read the packaging, but for some reason, this did catch my eye. So you can spritz over top, you can sponge, you can trace, you can emboss using Versamark. So press down with Versamark ink and then remove this and add your embossing powder. You can add texture using embossing paste. So if you're ever wondering what you can do with these masks, maybe have a look at that little paper. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 masks, and they all have these little notches and numbers. So each of these masks can be used alone. So here, I use this one here, and I put it down, and I inked it up with Pool Party ink and my blending brush. So, and when I took it, that was the result. And I love that, and I think it would be beautiful. I often will even just use my masks and do a little bit in the center of a page or something like that too, or the center of the card. But this is also marked so that you can line up the next one. So for example, that was number 1. If I lined up number 2 and put it here, and I would use repositionable tape or something to put it down, but I've lined up that notch and I brought in Coastal Cabana. And I'm just going to do a little bit here. And what I like is there's a nice big border, so I can start offside the border and then come in and start to add the color like that. And we'll do just a little peek. You can see it coming. But when you continue to do that, the result is this look. So this is like a 3D look that you're starting to get. So it's a totally different look. And you can then also add number 3 and make some more. So you can have lots of fun playing with that. And to clean this, I would just use a baby wipe. I just go to the sink and run it under the tap and then pat it dry. And it works beautifully. So just make sure I don't get ink on everything else here. The other two here are really neat too. So you've got this the black, sorry. You've got this geometric shape here. You've got this one here. You can use them again separately, or you can layer them to get a really neat look. So let me just share a few other samples here. So one of the suggestions that they gave was that you could use embossing paste. So on this one here, I used the shimmer embossing paste and just added a little bit of decorative here using this one. So there's that. Then I used one of the first one I used, and you can see I just added a little gentle background to the back. And on this one, I did the flowers and that kind of thing. And somebody else had this idea, so I don't take credit for that. Here's another one here where you've got the grid work and then the flowers. There's the enjoy and this. So this is sort of utilizing all kinds of things from that set. So this set is one that will play well with other things that you have in your supplies. I also wanted to mention, I just forgot, that I've seen some people take this trellis and glue it on top of this and then cut out both at the same time. And that's how you get this kind of look that you see in the catalog here. It's also would make a neat Easter egg, or you could sponge with one of these on top, and you could get some really neat effects that way. So there's that. And then you know me, sometimes, those of you who know me, know I do tend to like a lot of white on my cards sometimes. So the first card I made with this, I wasn't too sure where I wanted to go. So I started with white, and I took this die and I cut it sort of at an angle. I sort of tore it, I think is what I did, and then glued it on that layer, then added some of the sprigs, added some more of that gold thread and some embellishments and a bit of embossing. And there you have, I could have changed this to sympathy or whatever, but it gives you a totally different look. So those are just some ideas with the link together. It's absolutely awesome. So if you are seeing things that are catching your eye and you're thinking, I want to put it in order, just a little suggestion. We do have an ordering special attached to this event. So if you put an order of $75 or more in with either one of us, Marilyn, Joanne, or myself, you get a PDF of 3 different cards, how to make 3 different cards. And the card that that I have in the PDF is this one. And it's a fun fold like that. So if you're interested, it might be a little reward for you for acting quickly rather than waiting for a while. So, but you need to have it in by 6 p.m. on January the 10th, which is Friday. So that's when the cutoff is. So there we go. Now I think we're going on to another section of product.
Have to unmute. Sorry about that. We are going to go on. We're going to actually show you a few things on the online exclusives. We're going to start with Marilyn, and I'm going to spotlight her right here. And she has some things to show you. She actually has a release, a document that we sort of have. Marilyn has done a lot of work on it, but we have another demonstrator in the US who actually prepared it. Because sometimes we know it's hard to find the online exclusive. So we want to show you where, and we also have that document tag to send to you.
Just, I do have the document. I don't have it brought up on my iPad. Did either of you do that?
I didn't. I did. I have it on my iPad. Yes. So I'll show that when I get
Your
next.
section? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. As Joanne said, this was shared with us online. It did have the other lady's information. I just took it out and I've got it blank, but it does give us 5 pages with collections. Lillian has this one and is going to share it with us shortly. So the collection has stamps, dies, paper, embellishments, ribbon, and there's a price, one price for all of it when it's all there. It's got the colors on it. So it's really helpful for us to be able to see. And mixed media florals. I think one of these or both Joanne has to share with you later. The paper, an embossing folder, which I've seen. It is amazing what you can do with that. Some low profile dots. Then it gets into just the bundles. So there's a bundle where you buy the stamps and the dies together, or you can buy them individually. This one with the corners, again, is similar to the one that's in the celebration for 150 in Canada. A faith collection bundle. Camping adventure together. It's got a little camper. Grow with love bundle. Looks to me like this is maybe an envelope. I think I just saw something with that one. Congrats, grad. Looking forward to that. This is another one, elements of text for backgrounds. It's great. Kiss of texture, another texture one. Another one with just words. One with, I don't know if you can see that one. Meow mates. We had one with dogs. This is now one with cats. Ombre paper and memory keeping cards again for our quick and easy. So some great information. And I think, I can't remember her name, but whoever it was in the US that shared this with us, it has been a big help to me to not have to go and look for all the pieces. But as we talked about, you can find them online. And once you learn how to search for things online, it's a little easier. So what I'm going to share with you is a kit. And it comes in a box like this, and there's no name other than Stampin' Up on it. But when you open it, you don't get the pen. That I'm going to show you afterwards. You get perpetual calendar. I'm going to open it this way so that it's on the screen. It's already, not this part, but most of the pages are like this. And I've done a couple, and this one I took the embellishment out too soon, so I had to find the page it went on. As the other kit that I showed you in the beginning, it comes with the instructions. I have done 2 of the pages. Quick and easy. They're all stickers. So you just put whatever you want. I am following what's there because that's kind of the way I do things to begin with. So I've got January, February. I will do March with you. I found out you could stand this up, or it has a little hook here if you do want to hang it. And perpetual calendar, way back when Stampin' Up had the digital program that we had, I made myself a book that was perpetual, and I used and used and used it. And I got too many crossouts for whatever, and I'm not using it anymore. But this is the whole idea of this. So it comes with your instructions. A word of note, when you do start doing it, it's got January and July done the same. So it shows two of each element here, but you use one on each month. And then February, August, and it goes through like that. It comes with a block. because you may not have one. It comes with an ink spot, Stampin' Spot, in Pretty Peacock. It comes with stamps for each month, and mine came with English. I didn't get the French one for Canada. It comes with stickers for behind your months. I did do my stamping, and there's lots left if you happen to have to restamp. It comes with foil elements, green, blue, and crumb cake, and other elements. So basically what I need to do for March is find my pieces. So that was part of my dilemma, is why I ended up with the wrong piece. So I need a gold one. So what I'm looking at is, okay, what do I need? Well, this is March. My first one is a gold one that is here. And I found that if I peel them back, they do come out. And I'm sure I can figure out something to use that for when I'm done with all of this. What do you think? Any ideas? And I'm just looking at the picture. I'm going to kind of lay it down the same, and it sticks. That's all there is to it. So that one is done. I need one of these. Those are two different shaped ones. I need this one. So it's a matter of, kind of reminded me of puzzles. I don't know about the rest of you, but we usually have a puzzle we do at Christmas time. And it's a matter of finding the pieces. And then this one, I believe, is kind of airy one. So it gets stuck to my fingers. Very, very sticky when you do get it out. And really, if it's not the one that they had figured for that, I'm sure it won't matter. Then it uses one of the blue pieces for behind the words, and it's going this way. And March is going to, oh, should have been a shorter one. Oh, well. I'm going to put it like that. And there it is. So then if I were going to use this, I can use my Stampin' marker. And I'm not sure what I'm doing with this yet, so I'm going to just do it on here. But I would put my son's name on March 30th. He's going to be a grandpa this year, so I will definitely be remembering his birthday. I don't think he's old enough to be a grandpa, but we're quite excited. So that's it. And then you can, like you say, like I say, it's quick and easy, and you can have it done in no time. You can use it as a gift. You can use it for yourself, and you've got all the pieces. You've got some left. Like I say, for stamping, if you wanted to do something else, make a card maybe with the special month on it would work as well. And then you've got these to use whenever. So a great idea to have kits, and hopefully you will try them. Thanks, Joanne.
So I'm just going to go right ahead and show you where you can, oh boy, I keep hitting the wrong one. I should know this by now. So where you can find online exclusives, because Marilyn showed you the document that we have. But if you're looking on the computer, if you're looking on your iPad or on your phone, this is pretty much what you're going to get for the first one. It's going to bring you up to everything that Stampin' Up! Has available. And so I'm just going to go to the little hamburger up here. See if I can press it. I better put it down. Press it. Press it. It's not going to do anything. Here we go. Okay, well, normally when you press something, it brings it up.
You're already in it, maybe, Joanne.
Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna look down here under online exclusives. I guess maybe that was my problem. I was already as far back as I could go. So you can select down the side. Here's where I would normally be. If you're somewhere else, then what you'll see is there's some different categories here on your left. So this is your online exclusives down here. So that will take you there. And it probably says you're already there. What are you doing that for? So it's going to take me to the inks, now online exclusives. And you can scroll through. There's actually all kinds. So what will show up here, let me make this bigger for you, your kits, the brand new kits. We have 3 brand new kits as well that dropped on January 7th, a birthday, 2 birthday ones really that can be used for birthday. And then a more elegant one that Sarah actually did a live on putting it together. It's got gold and black and white. So if you like that elegant look, then that's a great kit for you. And then everything is here. So Marilyn's Perpetual Beauty Calendar Kit is right there. And some of the things that we are going to show you. And they'll also tell you if it's a bundled savings or not. So you will not see this in a written format, a catalog format. It's only on here. So whenever any of us are sending you information about online exclusives or it's on our Facebook, this is where we're talking about.
The other
So,
thing is if you want more information, just click on the image and then more information will come up and more pictures. So
okay,
more
so
ideas.
let's do that. We'll do that for Marilyn's kit. So there's a little bit of showing the spread. And then if you go in here, it'll show you all of the supplies that you get as well as the stamp set. And then it tells you as well, thank you, Lillian, for here, it tells you everything about the kit. I know that's you can't even read that. It is fairly small, but it tells you everything that you're going to get. And if you wanted to order it, you just add it to your cart. Okay.
The other thing that's neat when you're in there, I like to pull up 90 pictures at a time instead of 30 like it's set to.
And just go back here. So pick 90.
And then you
don't
can
have to
sort
keep
it.
hitting the bottom button.
Then you can sort it according to if you know the name, you can sort it alphabetically. Yeah,
If you want to do
prices.
price low to high, you can do that as well. So this is where you'll also find the last chance items. So things that will be selling out and when they're gone, they're gone. They just won't show up here anymore. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of stuff on here that is last chance as well. So it's a good deal, a good place to go look for things. Thank you, Marilyn. So I'm going to show you the mixed labels and we're getting close to our time. So I'm just going to go through it fairly quickly. So this is a bundle as well, a set of dies and stamps. And whenever I can get a stamp set that has lots of words and has a couple images, that's what I really enjoy. So I want to show you that this is not a limited set in terms of what you can produce with it. So I did not go in and use a bunch of dies, but I do have some samples showing you the dies as well. So the first thing, starting with a note card, is a super simple card. Let me see if I can make this light better. That's better, isn't it? Okay, that's a little bit better. So just a simple card, stamping the words, putting on that there's really only one image on here, and it is the flower. And then on the inside, different words and the flower again. And then for the back of the envelope, just a pretty little flower just for the back, just like you're putting a sticker on there. Then if you want to amp that up just a little bit, you're going to take that stamp and stamp it repeatedly, and you're going to move it up and down as you're stamping just to make it look like there's a whole screen of hollyhocks or what other flower would that be? Maybe, I don't know, poppies? Anyone have an idea? Just throw it into the chat there. And you'll see that I use the sequins that are the celebration sequins again. And here all I did was put it onto a piece of black so that it would stand out a little bit more. And then on this one, play around with where you put your greeting. Put your greeting down at the bottom, put it at the top, put it in the middle, but try a few different things. And then for this one, I put it in 2 places. So it's going to go right by the address for that person. And for these ones, for this one and this one, I colored with the watercolor pencils. So the watercolor pencils, you can add water to, you can use a blender pen, you can use your Wink of Stella. or you can just color. And that's what I did with these ones. They are just colored. Then I went on and I used some of the designer series paper, the Celebration. This one here, I have to tell you, this was not the side that I wanted. I put the glue on the wrong side, and so this is what I have. And so I went ahead and I used it because I had it already done. It's okay. It's a little bit too bold for what I was going for, but it's okay. I will still send this to somebody. So same idea down here for the flowers, but stamp with your colored ink this time and don't color them in, and you're going to get a different effect. Stamp with color on this one, so there's a little bit more involved here. And then I stamped and I cut out our little flowers this time and put them in behind. And then just a piece of the same designer series paper on the inside. And this envelope, what did I do? Oh, just designer series paper on that one. I thought if I had it, if I'm using it, might as well put it on the front too. So I want to show you just super quick technique because I'm conscious of our time. So I'm going to stamp that same flower, use Memento ink. I'm not going to give it much of a shot with my heat tool. So whenever you're stamping onto watercolor paper, so I have my Fluid 100 watercolor paper, stamp with a little bit of pressure, but when you do that, before you stamp, you want to make sure you don't have any ink around the outside of the stamp. So I didn't. So stamp, I would normally give this a shot with my heat tool, or what I often do is I stamp a whole bunch of these and then I let them dry overnight so that that ink has dried. And then I'm going to take my, oops, I put this on a piece of paper again. I'm going to take my markers again, very similar to what I did last time I used the paper. I've got soft seafoam, melon mambo, and fresh freesia here. I have a little bit of water I've already put on here, but I'm not going to put too much water on, but I want to show you the difference just because I haven't hit this with the heat tool yet. The water will activate that Memento stamp pad. So I'm just going to take a little bit, so it already is. It's making it just a little bit darker, pulling in some of the black, which might be a cool effect too. If you wanted just to add in some darkness and pick up some pink, and that can go right over top. And I'll pull this up and show you in just a moment. Because we're adding the water here, I'm just going to use my hand. That usually works well. Because we're adding the water, it actually is going to move the paint around a little bit better than when it's on our thick basic white. So I'll show that that's not as fabulous as it could be because I did not give it the shot with the heat tool. So let me show you ones where I have done that. Move that away. So another note card. This time I used the big banner, put the words inside first, and then I cut out the flower, but I cut it out. So I cut the top part and then I cut the leaves off. So again, this is one little stamp that's doing a bunch of the hard work here, and then just put it on with glue. And here, I just went in with some of the fresh freesia, and I used a blender pen this time with my marker, and I just went in and I colored. Now it will pill a little bit if you go over it too many times, but it's another way that you can get that soft kind of look. And what did I do here? Oh, another one of those. Then I went in and I used the dies. So same, just a cute little note card and just matching. So matchy-matchy. Think matchy-matchy when you're making your stuff. And then this guy right here is a little bit more involved. So I use that die over and over and over again. And cut out some of this here, but I do have the little flower in behind. And then I have this on the inside. And I repeated that on the envelope. Now, this is a card that takes a little bit more time. So I told you we were doing a lot of simple stuff, but this gives you an idea of what you can do that takes more time. And I did the same thing here where I pulled that die towards the back of the envelope. Okay, I'll move you on to Lillian, if I can find her here.
I am here. There we
you
go.
Okay.
And I am sharing everyday arches with you. So this is a bundle that I fell in love with as soon as we were able to see the new releases as demonstrators. Were able to see them back in middle of November. So this is another one where the stamp set can stand alone, the dies can stand alone. Look at all those arches there. There are a ton of them. There are, I think it's 11. I my memory's not very good these days, but they also work beautifully together. In the whole suite of products, there's some great paper, there's some ribbon, there's also these sparkly gems. These are called the two-tone sparkle gems. I am starting to use these on almost everything. There's almost a bit of, I don't know, petunia pop in there, some blue. They seem to pick up whatever color you put them on. So even if you're not interested in any of these other items, I'd give these gems a second look. So that's two-tone sparkle gems. They are a keeper as far as I am concerned. So great arches. Now I have a sister who hates it when the writing isn't in a straight line, but I like this. It goes with the arches like that. So look at all of the arches that you can make. So just tons and tons of different sizes. So you can use them just as a layer on a card. You can layer them together um, and do it that way and then have that kind of look. You can bring them in from the side. You actually are only limited by your imagination. You can use them as labels and stamp the words on there. You can do all kinds of different things with these arches. And again, just like we were saying before, once you get started, it is really hard to stop. And I'm ending up with quite a collection of garbage, not garbage, treasures all over the place. So the very smallest arch, that's what I used on this card here that I showed you a little bit earlier. So I just glued 3 that way and 3 that way. And that's how we got that look like that. On this one here, I used a slightly larger arch and then put designer paper behind it. Or you could stamp something and put it behind. So there's that. And then I just used my paper trimmer or my scoring tool to add some scoring here. And there we have just like that. Then I saw an idea and it was combining the arch. So I die cut the arch. So these are the everyday arches. But then I took this lattice die from the linked together, which we were just talking about. And I've already put a bit of adhesive on there. And if I put them together, I have got a little lattice window to look through. And you could put some designer paper behind it. This is from Celebration, just like that. Now, I just got this idea this morning, so that's why it's a work in progress. But so if I put this down here, if I put this on dimensionals, just pretend, and then I'm going to do some other stuff here, and then I could do this here and put my little greeting there, and you can see how that would come together. So don't be afraid, or I encourage you to be brave and mix and match from the things that you have, whether they're new or old or wherever. They really would work well together. So another of the new online exclusives is elements of text. And you know me and my splotches. Well, there's some lovely splotches on here. And there's this nice scripty stuff that works really well in the background of different things. So I combined that with the arches. And on this card here, and Marilyn's butterflies. And I put the script in the background, then did some sponging over top, and just created this type of look here. And on this card here, I used the arches and I made a shaker card. So you can do all kinds of things with the arches. Those of you who follow me know I did a whole swag, but I'm not going to bore you with all of them right now. But here's one where I used the stamps and the arches and the toadstools, but I made a little treat box. So just like that. So those are just a few ideas. I know that your brain right now is likely on overload, but I'm sure that you're getting excited about crafting too and ready to go do a little bit of that. So just want to remember that the that offer for placing an order, you get a free PDF on how to make different cards. And when you're placing your order, don't be afraid to look again at the scrapbooking brochure. I know I've mentioned this before, but I just want to remind you because I think because it's so new, we tend to forget it. And if you look, this is the front cover, that the birthday, wildflower birthday is being used on this as well. And so I'm also going to just remind you that with celebration, you might be able to earn a level 1 with a $75 purchase. So that's the beginning of the celebration brochure. You can earn a level 2 with a $150 purchase or 2 level 1s. You have a choice there. If you have a big order, like it's 375 or more, or you have some friends that you want to gather orders with, if you hit that $375, you get your regular stamping rewards, plus you get an additional $37 worth of rewards. So where's my stamping, my brochure here? It's a little hard to notice it in here, but notice this page here. That's where you see that mentioned. Of course, the best deal is always the join deal. That's where you get to always choose $165 worth of product for $135. And then during celebration, they give you 2 options. You can choose to add on this exclusive stamp set, only you get it, and 2 of your choice of the color families of the markers, or you can choose option 2 and add an additional $41 over and above the products added to your products. So either one works really well for that. So somebody was saying that they had a customer say, well, I just bought the markers. Well, this would be what she would be interested in, is to add that on. So remember, you can order from any source for celebration. You can order from the mini catalog. You can order from the annual catalog. You can order from the online exclusives. You can order from the last chance. Anything that you can find that you can order, they can all work towards celebration. So be sure to take a look-see and make it work for you, because who doesn't love to get a little extra, make your money go a little bit farther. All right, and I think we're just about ready to wrap that up. Did I miss anything, Marilyn and Joanne?
No, covered it well, I think.
Yes, I think we are happy. And if you want to come off chat, off mute, maybe just let us know. Marilyn or Lillian already mentioned your head might be spinning a little bit because we had a lot of samples. And I think I'm going to go back and count exactly how many we had, but there has to be 70, 80 samples in there. So hopefully something sparked with you. Hopefully you got a little bit of a tip on something, or you found something in what we showed that maybe sparked an interest. We'd be thrilled if you let us know that. So does anybody have any comments they'd like to make right now? And I'm not going to put you on the spot.
I just posted one.
Oh, thank you, Glenda. And what did you say?
I said you guys did a good job, and thank you very much. I got some tips and I got some ideas to try.
Oh, yay.
Perfect. That's exactly what we are hoping for with these. And I see some other items coming in the chat. So thank you, those who are posting there. I know sometimes it's a little daunting to actually talk on the Zoom, but we thank you for coming and joining us. And we certainly did a lot of preparation in the last few days, all 3 of us, because this time last week I had 1 sample. So it was a lot of work in the last little bit, but it's fun work and we enjoy sharing it with you. Lillian or Marilyn, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Just that we will be putting this on our YouTube channels and send you the links so you can watch it again if you're trying to remember and can't remember what we did.
That's good, because my memory's not.
And as Lillian said, the offer for the PDF will end at Friday at 6 o'clock. Friday the 10th at 6 o'clock.
And we'll be sending you information about that. Whoever you registered with will send you information about those two things. So thank you, everybody. We're going to let you go now and get on with the rest of your day, and we will see you again.
Happy
Bye.
crafting.
Happy stamping.
Bye-bye.